Okay, so hello everybody. Probably now I met all of you in person. Many of you have known for many years, and thank you for the opportunity. As you can see, I'm representing Resources for Leisure Assets, and you don't often see advisory companies with a position of Director of Industry Intelligence, but that's me. Because we operate literally in all spectrum of hospitality as well as healthcare, and we have so many different aspects of industry globally as well as culturally that we created this position, since every project requires a very different set of market information, and not just market information, we call it intelligence, because that really is intelligence, to understand who is who and what's different with a spa hotel and a hotel spa. And so on, and what's a longevity center, and so on and so on. So that's my job, is to look at the market and try to be smart. Very quickly, we agreed with the guys that I do a very different approach. After the information of Ingo, I do a little bit of different introduction of various interesting and I suppose rather useful alternatives for you in this field. But anywhere you look at, and apart from a spelling mistake there, and sorry about that, at least you spot it, so you're involved. It's engagement test. Do you spot the mistake? Anyway, look at the facilities, whatever you're working with or for, what exactly that is. Most of the problems that we see, and Mike already mentioned a couple of them, that many of the operators as well as owners try to mix all of this preferably and hoping that it will have a lovely amalgam of work, and finally it's not, or it doesn't do it. And I tell you, in the afternoon you will see some data when they really have an issue with visitors, what they perceive as a product and what the management suggests what that product is. So try to identify what that is. And the only thing as well is just the redistribution of what these facilities are and what they offer. I often miss the fun element of these places. Spas never fun. They are temples, you have to be quiet, you're whispering, you kind of try to find your way, especially when you have thermal experience, the thermal places. Most visitors, especially foreigners, have absolutely no idea what to do and what that is. Especially if the water is smelly and not transparent. Kind of yellowish, brownish, murky thing. Guests have an issue with that because they don't know. You don't know what's in it, what's living in there. And of course, you tell it. Well, you will still feel that smell for hours after you've been in it. All right, okay, that sounds a bit scary. Especially ladies with long hair, they always have a problem with the smell. This kind of management issue with waters, especially some countries the waters are very clean and no smell. Some other countries really heavy and really strong smell. So it's always a critical issue here. And also wanted to mention, just really reflecting what some of you already mentioned, hot springs or thermal or whatever you want to call it is a great avenue for democratization of any kind of wellness benefit. And I'm very careful of this wellness thing because everything is wellness. I bought wellness towels. And I can buy wellness eggs, so forget it. In 2 years' time, no one will use wellness because it's just expired. It's a little bit dead, but never mind. It's over-exaggerated. So democratization, because people have access to it, especially in Eastern Europe. I'm living in Budapest, but our offices are in Sonoma, in Vienna, in Dubai. We have have a great experience of how that goes, and this is access to an average person to a hot spring place. This is what they can do. It's not a luxury place, not an unusual thing. This is just a Tuesday afternoon between 2 and 4. I just pop in for, I don't know, €5 or 3 or 2 for the matter. So that's a completely different story. And I really don't believe any of what the Wellness Institute is saying about the hot spring industry, not a word, because they don't understand that half of the world is using this as a social policy, healthcare product, not a luxury facility. So the exploration of all those numbers into Eastern European situations is a complete misunderstanding of the world. Complete misunderstanding of the world. You cannot extrapolate hotel revenues, which have lovely luxury hot spring facilities, to hot spring bath, which has no accommodation whatsoever, but a very medical, government-funded place. You just can't put it under the same umbrella, and all those numbers are just fictional. So I really, really don't agree with that. This is fact. We did work with the Hungarian Bath Association. These are the actual facts, what they do. And if you look at what the Valencia Institute published for Hungary, it's a joke. And the whole association Hungary was horrified by the numbers, what the study showed, because it's nothing to do with reality, and no one contacted them, no one talked to them. You know, why? Why should they? And you can this is the fact how many facilities it has, what kind of categorization they do, what kind of treatments they do, what kind of surface area we have, a number of state-funded treatments they do. This is not necessarily fun. This is healthcare. It is part of the healthcare system, and visitors come, they have the prescribed treatments, the government pays for 10 defined treatments, which you can have certain times of the year. You go in, it's not a luxury place, it's a very, well, Mike, how would you describe it? It's a basic experience, but no one goes there for fun as such, they go to improve their health. And that's a completely different story, and you can see that we have just only 15 of them are really attracting foreign guests. Most of them are for the local communities, for the regional catchment. That's what they do. Yes, they have some domestic guests, no problem, no question. Some of them are historic. They have been around for hundreds of years, but the primary function is healthcare, relaxation, and leisure. And on top of that comes the tourism business. And you can see that it's 18 million euro balneotherapy treatments were given by these establishments in 2014, which you might say 80 million euros is not that big thing, but say in the Hungarian situation is quite a big thing. And most of these are not self-funded. These are government-funded treatments. And just a couple of examples what we also did. This is one of just following up your pictures. This is the Rudas Bath, which is a historic Ottoman Empire Turkish facility from the 1500s, and this is just a couple of images. And the Budapest Spas Corporation, responsible for all the Budapest historic facilities, wanted to have an extension. A former bottling plant is being closed, and they wanted to have an extension of the facility, and the role was to kind of guide the architects because they have lovely ideas, but they said that's very nice, but from a user's perspective, well, we have an issue here. And our role was to guide them to have this lovely historic facility with a very new modern part. And this is the result, which is a rooftop you don't call it jacuzzi because it's not, but you can see the whole city from that rooftop thing over the river. And reminiscence of the Turkish element on the other side. And it's a very modern facility. As such, not my style to have red, but the management wanted to have red. But the architects wanted to have the steps here, and the people would be facing the view. Not facing the view, showing their back to the view, because they thought it's not necessary to see the view. You said so. Now they have to put the bloody steps there because this is where everybody can see from here, because you can see the whole river through that window. So it is a very kind of experience planning job we had to do with them. Because it was rather good, and that's the view from the roof. It's not too bad, I believe. And then you have the Turkish side just here. So you have a modern unit and a historic unit. But the job was to create experience and go through from the customer's mind what they would like to have as a space. Spending time, which means spending money, have a successful visit. And also wanted to show you this. There's a staging that you can see from Mike's.
This is the U version.
It's called the Mankini, just if you wondered. Yeah.
This is the uncensored version.
I have the uncensored version. It's not the uncensored.
We want it.
That's what you'll be wearing tonight.
Yes, but I won't be here, so you won't see it. Anyway, I absolutely love these computers. Okay, just as a little example how the Budapest Fast Corporation wanted to introduce the product into a completely different clientele. They open on Friday evenings, and 99.9% of the guests are foreigners. Most of them coming just for the day. So they attract, historic environment, having it's some hot water, a historic building, and it's a massive party. It has now 2 different places. Again, many people argue that is this a good way or not a good way, because it was built for healthcare and relaxation. Now it's a party venue. So it's your call if you like it or you don't like it. Obviously, you do it in Bad Orb as well, and you do it in Stuttgart, wherever, these kind of evenings. But this in particular case, having plastic glasses in the water and cans and all the rest of it, whatever, you decide. But this certainly is a very successful business as such. Also wanted to give you a very quick overview of this one. We worked with the municipality, and that's something very different, but relates to Ingo's thing as a destination, not a property, but a destination thing. This place, it's the medical water lake in Hungary, and we call it resort medicine. I don't know how many of you are familiar with that terminology, resort medicine. And the place is doing nothing else but this, literally. The whole village, city, call it village? Not call it village, city. Town. Mr. Mayor would be pleased to hear that I call it a village. A town does nothing else, just that. Danubius has properties and various other various operators. But if you look at it, and of course it won't show again. What?
Yes.
Oh. And I tell you why that's a rather interesting little piece. So it's a natural medical hot spring lake. The only other one in New Zealand, but it's too hot. This one is not, it's 34. Sorry about the video, I wasn't involved in the making of the video. It's a bit Eastern, Mike, would you say it? It's a historic facility with medical as well as leisure components. And the whole city lives on that. All of it. Town. The whole town lives on it. So what you do is go to that lake and float. And of course you have some banotherapy, hydrotherapy treatments on the side.
How far out of Budapest?
2 hours. It's halfway between Vienna and Budapest.
So it's public access as well?
Oh yes. That is. You know the weight bars? All of you? Weight bars? That's apparently Hungarian invention to extend the joints. So you're hanging off and extra weight accordingly to your actual condition or weight, it just extends the joints. Okay, because I've run out of time and Marion will tell me to stop. Anyway, just a little understanding of what the lake does. It's a rather significant thing as a destination development. And what we did for them was to they have 1.1 million guest nights, which you might say, well, it's not that big thing. However, what's important is they have the economic multiplier of 1.89. I don't know how many of you understand what that means. So it's quite high. So municipality wanted to know what's the real impact. I know how many guest nights I have, but in general, in total, what's the economic impact of having this? because they wanted to, with government, and that's what probably sometimes you need to have as well, and the government involvement, as you mentioned. You have to have a kind of multiplier study that, guys, this is really long stay, lot of extra payments, and what we do, we also operate a hotel benchmark service, and we always look at the TREFPAR figure, not the RevPAR figure. Are you okay? Everybody's okay with the TREFPAR story? The TREFPAR is the total revenue per available room. A RevPAR is just the revenue per available room, and the difference is here 50%. So the TREFPAR is 50% higher than the RevPAR, which means that the health-related services adding 50% on the hotel revenue, on just the spend of the rooms.
What's the average length of stay?
It's around a week because of the wide range of guests. Of course, if you have a traditional cure, it's 2-3 weeks. And also, we know that it's a town of 4,600 people, but this whole activity generates over 2,400 jobs.
So if we have more discussion, then we only have 4 minutes.
Yes.
Altogether, we have only 4 minutes.
Yeah, fine. That's okay. And another little example which you might like, this is a cave bath. It's a natural cave, which is now being extended heavily, so carved some other tunnels, but originally it's a natural cave bath, not like the Bedouin. It's a very large place. You can easily get lost in it, and it has the natural hot springs in it. So that's part of the excitement. And the last thing I wanted to show you is one project that we do, and it's an outdoor one. It's not an aqua park, just want to define, it's not an aqua park. The facility has an indoor thermal facility already, but they will now have an outdoor one, and it's all themed according to guest types and guest demands. So you can say the senior one, which is the good old sitting in hot spring pools. We have the lounge one for the want to show the latest breasts and all the rest of it, that sort of crowd as well. And of course, with the family unit, so it's all separated. Just the layout of the place, we will have 3 houses as well, which you don't necessarily have in places like this, but we will have 3 houses.
Where is it?
In Debrecen.
Oh.
But the others don't. But this is the approved plan for the place. It's rather exciting in 2 levels, and what we're really excited about is this is the visualization.
Where is it?
It's in Hungary. And we will have these individual units of hanging off from the wall, and you can rent them. An individual, social consumption thing, again, responding to the social consumption in small units sort of thing. Obviously, we won't have that much water because it's not good, it's just the architect. But it will have really like, Star Wars, the Parliament thing and the Star Wars thing, that's exactly how it looks like, this kind of unit. Good. Don't forget, all these lovely stuff you're doing will be nothing without education. And you don't find any programs, really, literally any programs. Mike already is working with us on the master program of thermal spa and resort management. And I'm also happy to announce that we will have an executive MBA of thermal spa and resort management. And I'm very happy to talk to you how you can get involved in that one, because I think industry very much needs that. And of course, we work with materials because the industry doesn't know and academia doesn't know what you are doing. So we do a lot of writing of papers and books and chapters and all the rest of it, such as the putting thermal back into medical tourism, and it's one of the latest publication. And you will see a lot in the one which comes out in 2 weeks, and also a massive chapter on this one which will be published very soon by the World Tourism Organization, which we wrote. So, thank you, and sorry for the 2 minutes.